Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Well, I guess good morning.
Good afternoon for some of us.
Hi. Afternoon.
We have Suzanne, Fran, Victor so far. Give me 1 second. So I don't think any of you were here last time, it looks like, right? So if you guys want to go around and just introduce yourselves quickly to one another and to me. I think you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
Shall I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Hello, everybody. So good to see you. I'm Suzanne from the Netherlands, from Surf Project. We just started our project last Saturday. Very happy to be back in the water again with the children, because last year we couldn't do anything. So this was I think the most happiest weekend of in a long time for us. So yeah, hi.
Hello, welcome. Actually, so I realized, Fran, you were here last time. I think she's my only, yeah. Fran, right, you were here last time.
I was. Can you hear me?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, I was here, but I can introduce myself if the others weren't here as well.
Oh.
So I'm Fran, I'm from Liquid Therapy in Ireland, and we were supposed to get back today, but had to cancel our first session because of a storm. But we're revving up and we're getting ready to get back into it again. It's exciting times.
Happy to hear that. Let's see who else.
Okay. I am Victor from Superanda. We are in Barcelona, Spain, and as well as Suzanne, we have last Sunday our first activity, and we're quite happy. We are working basically or mainly with children with functional disabilities like autism or Down syndrome. And also, Frank, we are starting as well a project that is named Inclusive, that liquid therapy is involved, that is Erasmus Plus project.
Okay, great. Let's see, Sandra. There we go.
Hey.
Hi.
You want her to introduce herself?
That would be great.
Yeah, so we're at the French Association on the Surf. So we are based in the southwest of France, and we work with different kind of disabilities. Through our association, we do different things. We train surfer educators to welcome people with specific needs all over France. In this way, we have a club that are certified on the surf all around France, thanks to our surf educators. Yeah, that's it.
So just also so you guys know, I'm trying to take notes, like the minutes while we're doing it. So can you guys hear the thing, or is my computer far enough away from my speaker?
We can't hear you very well.
Good. I just want to make sure you guys can't hear like the sound of my keyboard typing. I'm going to take all the minutes this time during the meeting. But so far it sounds like we have, I just want to make sure I'm hearing this correct. We have someone from Ireland, France, Barcelona, and I don't think I caught Suzanne. Can you remind me again where your program is?
Netherlands.
The Netherlands, right? And I'll introduce myself again for anyone that wasn't here last. My name is Meg. I'm from New Jersey, US. Right now it's just for a reference of time. It's 9 a.m. in the US on this coast. And I know for Chris in the California, it's about 6 a.m. So I appreciate her waking up a little early. I'm an occupational therapist. So I work with pretty much everyone on the age spectrum from as young as birth, so 0 years old, all the way up to 100 years old. But I've worked in a bunch of different settings. I volunteered with a few different programs all throughout the US. And I kind of just help Chris with projects here and there. I helped with scoping review on surf therapy a year or two ago. Time has gone by really quickly. But yeah, so the whole point of this group, again, for anyone that wasn't here last time, I'll just reiterate. So ISTO really wants all of the contributors to feel like they have a voice. They want a more streamlined way of everyone communicating with ISTO. So that's why we're having these groups. So instead of 40, 50 programs reaching out to them, they can kind of streamline it through all of us that are leading these groups. So it's just a little bit quicker to get you guys responses. But we also want to find ways that are easy for all the programs to also contribute and give back to ISTO. So that's the general goal of ISTO. Help us help you. Oh, and Chris, I see that you joined.
How are you guys? I'm in Rhode Island where it's freezing, and I will be getting in the water in like 10 days. I'm kind of nervous about it because it's still super cold there.
Thanks for joining us. Sounds like it looks like we got a pretty solid group today. I'm glad this time seems to be working better for everyone.
Wait, Meg, can I just say, Chris, when you say freezing, do you mean like the Netherlands freezing? Let's give it up for Suzanne.
I was waiting to hop in and tell you that the water is freezing here as well.
Yeah. At least the water gets warm here in the summer, but the air around here is a little bit cold still.
Yeah, I know. Poor children. Last Saturday they were going in there and they were wearing gloves and boots, and yeah, they were so amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and freezing. Yeah.
What's
more than welcome in Barcelona.
Good idea.
Over there?
Sorry?
What's the temperature of the water?
It's now, I think, 7 degrees. What's that in? I need to.
It's like 43, like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's cold. That would be very, very cold for us Americans. Actually, what is it, Chris, in Rhode Island?
It's about 50.
Yeah,
right, Chris?
Yeah, 50-ish right now.
Yeah, so imagine 10 degrees colder, because that's what the Netherlands is. And if you don't follow Surf Project on Instagram, that's the other thing, Meek, I would recommend doing all social medias, so we're all following each other. Okay, Surf Project has the coolest surf van in the world. I have goals to get that surf van. That is the coolest surf van I have ever seen. Can you shoot up a photo of it, Suzanne?
Yeah,
in the chat?
I will do it. Yeah.
Have you seen ours yet, Chris?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Gnome Surf and Surf Project have the two coolest vans in all of ISTO.
Theirs is cooler though. I think hers is a little older. What year is yours, Suzanne?
Chris, put yours in the chat. You guys have to put a picture in the chat, because honestly,
yeah, we'll do it.
Putting it under ISTO radness. Like between Gnome Surf and Surf Project, no two cooler vans in all of ISTO. I'm just saying.
Ours is from 1980.
Oh, wow.
Oh, mine is 73.
So it's older. It's even older. Yeah. Well, it acts quite old. It drives quite old. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh, it's old every time. It's an adventure to drive in it, actually. It's not sure if you make it in time anywhere.
Yep. No way.
I will post a picture. Yeah. Yeah, but this weekend was a cool drive. Wait, I'll get it.
Take your time. But that was a good
yeah.
idea, Chris. If after the meeting, if you guys could either email me your Instagram links, I'll put it all in the minutes so that we can all make sure we follow all the right program in the group. So last time we had talked about making a resource. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to read the minutes, but it would basically be maybe like a 1-page front and back side with information you could give to the families of your participants or just the participants themselves that briefly outline like what is surf therapy, and then places they could go to find more research, so articles or the ISTO website, so kind of to help support as a resource, I guess, to back up not just, oh, surfing is great, it's so much fun, but also showing that there's currently like research supporting like the science behind it. Does that sound like something you guys all agree would be a nice resource to have?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the email, I'll put some questions. If you guys could give me just a little more information so I have a better idea of what we want, and then maybe you can all help by sending like maybe your definition of surf therapy and any articles that you might already be giving to your families for reference, or any other places you might send them, maybe on the internet, that you direct them to go look for more information. And then I can kind of comb through it all and start getting that put together. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Is there any resources besides maybe just the ISTO website that you guys are currently using or directing your families to? Anyone?
Sorry. I was so busy with posting a picture. What was the question again?
It's okay. Is there any current like resources you direct your families or your participants to go for more information about surf therapy besides like the ISTO website?
I used the one from all the research, so where we put our publications. So I'll send them to that website from I cannot remember that name, the GCPCGR. What was it? So I'll send them to that one, or either that one or ISTO. Yeah. And sometimes they even now volunteers come to me and ask me about projects in Europe to go volunteering. Last week, actually, there was a volunteer from the Netherlands who really wanted to go to some project in Europe. So I'll just look up all the European projects and I'll send them their website. So it is going to work a little bit more now, I think.
Great. And so I'm happy to hear that it's working for you.
I've been also using the recent research that ISTO completed in our grants, and we've been starting to score some, so very useful stuff.
Happy to hear that. All good things.
Yes, in France we are using this too, the Global Journal of Community Psychology Practice, but French people struggle very much with English, so it's difficult to make them look at the resources. Or they struggle like me to speak in English.
What other barriers? I know the language is a barrier with some of the research. Other issues that come up when you're trying to share like research or any other resources?
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Say that again.
We can't really hear you. Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, I said, are there any other barriers that you have when you're sharing like the literature? I know obviously communication is, or not communication, language barriers are difficult, but is there anything else? And I'm asking this because when we start making this resource ourselves, I want to keep everything in mind so that we can make it as accessible as possible.
I think the language is the main difficulty, because if we find articles and we want to share them, we have to translate them because French people don't speak really good English. I think this is our main difficulty. So if we have
Maybe the scientist words are, I don't know, le vocabulaire scientifique.
scientist vocabulary. I mean,
Ouais, non. I think this can be a little difficult for a family when the article are 10
Too
pages
specific,
and really scientist view. I don't know how to say that, but
yeah, with very specific vocabularies, like maybe families can't really understand if it's too specific.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the Google,
sorry.
or is it fail?
Sorry, we have a problem with the connection, I think. What do you say?
Do you have Google Translate?
Yeah, we do have. Yeah, sorry.
And then I joked and I said, "Is it just like an epic fail when you try to use it, though?" I see you laughing.
Yeah, Google Translate doesn't work too well.
Yeah.
I'm doing a construction project in Costa Rica, and let me just say, it's added a lot of confusion, Google Translate.
Yeah, I misunderstand.
No, but if I think it would be a good idea if we, at least for Spanish, we can do. There are some Spanish speaker entities that are in ISTO. Maybe we can divide the contents and translate it to the Spanish. It will be. We are blocking the barriers of the translation. And also, as we have some therapists, we can do like a summary with a more comprehensive language. I think it will be a good initiative. I don't know what you think.
Victor, just make sure I heard you correctly. So were you saying you have or to find some therapists that could help like translate a summary of different research?
Yeah, to Spanish. It means I think we can enrich the list of resources if we have in several languages. And Spanish, I am collaborating in other group with Spanish entities that there is people from Argentina, Costa Rica. Maybe we can share the docs and I start to do that translation.
Great.
If you think that is a good idea.
Say that one more time. I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
So it's my sound. No, my point is that in our organization, at least, we have several therapists that also can do the translation from English to Spanish. It means that we can cover the scientific language and also the translation to Spanish, and we can do that work just to enrich the ISTO resources for the Spanish speakers.
I think that'd be very useful because we have a very heavy Spanish-speaking population that have immigrated from Puerto Rico in our area, and we don't have literature that we can give to the parents in Spanish.
And also, as there are more organizations that are Spanish speakers, we can distribute the content and start to do that, because it's not that just one organization has to do everything. We can distribute the workload.
Muchas gracias, Victor.
You're welcome, Chris.
Victor, so Victor is also, just for everybody, so they know, he's also, of course, included in the vulnerable youth group with Maria leading it with the all Spanish speakers. And Victor, I really appreciate you putting it out there that you're willing help with that. We do have some people translating things, but while this particular working group is putting together a resource guide that we can use on the website, I think being translated in Spanish and French, and for that matter, Portuguese, is just really, you know, we can't be an international organization without these translations. So I really appreciate that, Victor. Thank you.
Welcome.
Chris, kind of just, I'm thinking maybe we can reach out to more, like everyone, all the contributors. And once we have the outline of what we want on this resource, we can just see how many volunteers we can get, and we can just try to get as many languages as possible. So far, English, Spanish, French, Portuguese. Are there any other?
Well, Dutch. I mean, luckily, you know, I gotta say though, I mean, Suzanne, I'm sorry, I didn't forget you. It's just, for example, Survivor is doing the pilot study, and I had asked him, hey, should we translate this into Dutch? And of course, he's like, no, everybody speaks English. I'm like, okay, well, that's awesome, but we probably still need to cater to some. Is there nobody in the Netherlands who doesn't speak English? It just reminds me of how inept Americans are and how we need to learn more than one language. But at any rate, Suzanne, probably Dutch too, yeah?
Well, I really don't think it's necessary because everybody learns English. Everybody learns English in the Netherlands. So yeah, maybe there's 1 or 2 families, 3, but I don't think it's a necessity to translate it into Dutch, really. No. And we could always do.
Sorry, you guys are just cooler than us.
And if we want to translate it in Dutch, and this is the one pager we're talking about, then there's a lot of persons who want to do that for us. So we can do it, but it's not necessary. So maybe don't put all the energy in that. What I wanted to add something. Is it also possible, because we're starting to make a video about our research with our research partner to explain what we did in a small video. So we could also subtitle that one in English and maybe also in other languages. But is it also possible for us, for ISTO, to make like something in a video?
Oh, good idea.
Just like maybe not exactly the animation video we made, but because that's really our program. So I don't know if it works for other programs, but also that one we could subtitle that in English. But maybe if, yeah, I know it costs money maybe, but
we're looking for like a frequently asked questions sort of one pager for your athletes and really parents of your athletes. Many of you work with youth. I mean, I love your animation. Again, go to Surf Project's Instagram account and look at her little cartoon video. That's a good idea to do a video one, Suzanne.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of our athletes learn by visualization. So they understand it better when you visualize things.
Yeah, I think that'd be really, really useful actually, with like all the programs all over the world. So it kind of show that hurting as well, like that people are doing it all over, it's successful all over. Come join us, come surf with us. And our parents sometimes are intimidated because they think that we're out there in these massive, huge waves, and that's not the case, right? So I think it'd be good to show that to some people who aren't really familiar with exactly what it is.
We do have a video, Chris, from 2 years ago, from ISTO's conference.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe that's, I don't know. Yeah.
That's you're right. Totally forgot about that one. Can you resend that one out, Chris?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to get Victor's program, and I don't think Fran liquid therapy. Actually, maybe Tom did. I need to go back and look. Doesn't it seem like 2019 was 10 years ago?
Yeah. I know.
I mean, 2020 feels like it was 10 years ago, let alone 2019. And then
We need to
Sandra,
wait for that.
my ladies in France, I think I need a video from you. Yeah, I would have to add to that and shorten it down. But I think almost what we did was we took clips of everybody's surf therapy program, and that is compelling indeed. I think it could be more compelling if it was telling a story and really answering questions and potentially having subtitles for certainly Spanish and French and Portuguese at the very least. So I need to think about that. I really, really love that idea. And that would be cool that this came from this working group. This is why we put everybody together, to have these thought brainstorming ideas, and then something comes up and it's like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. Okay, I'll think about that. Back to your regular schedule program, Meeg, sorry.
No. This is the whole point of the group, is to not really have a plan and see where the conversation takes us. I know we briefly tried to put together, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, a video for the symposium last year, and it was collecting clips. In that sense, it was interview questions. I believe, Chris, right, that video is all still somewhere, because that would help add to the storyline aspect.
Yeah, I think that actually wouldn't be a bad way to go. We still are working on that. But instead of having like, here, choose 3 different questions, just here's your question, answer that one question. And
yeah,
because we ended up sort of getting so many different things, that's why we're still working on it. But that's a good idea. I like that idea. Maybe asking everybody just one question, and then you get the answer from different languages. Yeah, that's cool.
I feel like the question that was the hard answer from the last set and would probably be pretty relevant now is, what is surf therapy? Because that's I feel like the biggest
it's
participants.
published in the Global Journal of Community Psychology Practice. So we did work on that definition, but that isn't the definition. You know, I'm doing a speaking event at Scripps Institute for Ocean Visions Summit this month. And that's the first question is always, what is surf therapy? So you can read the definition, an intervention combining surfing and activities to promote psychological, physical, and psychosocial well-being. But that doesn't tell any of us, what surf therapy is if you don't know what surf therapy is already. And by the way, when we came up with that definition, we were we went back and forth, and we were very specific about not including the ocean. But the truth is, we also feel like it's a working definition, because the ocean, or certainly a water element, should play a part in talking about the definition, right? I mean, we're in nature, and it's hard to not wrap our heads around that. But because so many people use rivers and lakes and wave pools now, we didn't want to get specific about, oh, it's an ocean. And then obviously other parts of the world, sea, not the ocean. And there is a difference between the sea and the ocean. Not much. They really are. They all just meld into one space, but they have different definitions. So between the seas and the rivers and the oceans and the lakes and wave pools, we just didn't include water, but there should be that. So it's really kind of a working definition, right? But I love that. What is surf therapy to you? And then that really tells the story.
Because I know so in the email I sent out last week, I also mentioned I'm going to ask all the groups in this working group one question a week, and I'm going to try to take all the responses from that and put it all in one resource, because I'm trying to pick questions that could also be used as like a frequently asked question resource you could also hand out to your participants. So I'm trying to make everything functional. It's not just asking questions. I'm trying to get as much out of this as I can. I lost my train of thought. But I need to think of a good question for this week. I did get a lot of great responses from everyone last week about what you wish you knew that you didn't know when you first started your program. I got some interesting responses, but anyone that didn't have a chance to, when you do have the chance, please respond so I can include everyone.
Let's share it here. I'd be
Sure.
interested to hear from Fran and everybody else. We're just over talking, and Fran is not a talker. Fran, I can't wait to get up to Ireland.
Well, you'd be very welcome to come. Did you get my response from the question from last week?
I did. I'd have to pull it up.
Okay, so I can remember it anyway. Do you want us to go through that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question was, what do you wish that you knew when you were starting out on surf therapy that you know now? So I remember the thing that frightened me the most was working with pre-verbal people and how I would communicate. And I discovered through the whole thing that it was that communication isn't verbal. You know, it doesn't have to be verbal, and that there's so many other different ways. And after I let go of all the fear and all the anxiety over it, I was able to slow myself down and just be able to tune into my surfer. And then we communicate. We you know, I end up now that I'd be looking forward to a session with a pre-verbal person because it's such a lovely experience. So that's the thing that I wish I knew at the start, which I know now, is that communication is so much more than verbal.
I love that. Who does anyone else want to share?
Yeah, we asked the question to Jean-Marc, who created the association. And he told her that when they first started the project in 2008, the surfing therapy was not very developed, and they had an image around surfing that could attract people. But it was very important to take into account the substitution side of the sport and being very careful with people that have never welcomed people with specific needs or disabilities, and they didn't really anticipated that. And as well, they didn't realize how credibility can be important when you want to start a project. I mean, like to have more people involved. Like credibility is very important if you want to have more people involved. That's why Jean-Marc, he took a training course that he adapted to surf in order to welcome people in specific needs. So I think he wish he knew like how to build a project and how to welcome people with specific needs. I don't know if you really understood what I say. When you start a project, the most important is how to build a project, and he didn't really know that. And he also didn't know how to welcome people with specific needs. That's why he took training courses.
Yeah, that definitely made sense. I know you. That was great. Suzanne, do you want to go?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think I've got like 100 responses to that question. And if I have to pick one, I sent you a very positive one that if I'd known that it was so much fun that I would have started like 10 years earlier with this. That was the first one that came up in mind. So that was a very positive one. But there's also things like that I would have like to know that there's also people taking advantage of your success. So we were going for a grant, and then in the end we ended up with nothing, but they used our video and our surfers in their video. Yeah, and they put us on stage just for their, I don't know, welfare. So I would have, yeah, I'm more careful now for which grant I will apply for, or yeah, that's one. And another very important one, sorry if I may have one, I take a bit of a long time maybe, but yeah, another one is that we see that the children really are growing their self-confidence, but there's a really small line how to talk to the children. So some children you really need to speak to as a childish child, but there's also children, or maybe older children also, that you need to be careful that you tune in at the right level. I think Christopher knows what I'm talking about, but if you want to build self-confidence in these children, please really look at the child, look at the individual and how to approach the individual. So yeah, we made some mistakes in that part. So yeah, that's it.
Can you give an example, Suzanne?
Yeah, yes. There was a boy with autism, and one of our volunteers, who was his buddy, yeah, he talked to him like he was a small child, really like, I don't know, like he was a baby. So he was really angry with the whole organization that they talked to him as if he was a baby and he was a grown up. He felt like a grown up. So yeah, and that didn't help him in his self-confidence. So you should be careful how to talk to the athletes, because they really want to, be seen as full persons, of course. So yeah.
Wow, that's a good life lesson. Like, you know, and if you think about elders, you know, me as an occupational therapist, and a lot of clinicians work with all ages, right? And you think about elders don't necessarily want to be spoken to like babies either, right? And sometimes, you know, you kind of downplay it. I just, wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah, you need to be careful with it. Yeah.
Wow.
I just want to jump in and welcome Brenna just joined. Brenna, if you want to just briefly introduce yourself, and then we're kind of going around responding to a question I sent out to everyone last week. It's what you wish you knew that you didn't know when you started out with surf therapy.
That's a loaded question. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I'm Brenna Tuland. I was super excited. I've known Chris for 3 years. I actually came across him. It's the only person who I've ever actually slid into their DMs, because I had written an article about him, and I was like so excited when I saw it. My background is in community mental health and educational settings, and so I've spent a lot of time with children with pretty significant socio-emotional and behavioral needs and their families. And when I saw him being featured, I think it was in South Coast, I literally DM'd him and was like, what you're doing is so cool. So that was really kind of how I came about Chris. I feel like in many ways, despite my clinical background, I'm really quite new. So I would say there's probably so much that I don't know yet. So I would say that for me, there's so much I don't know yet. I think it's more just kind of taking the position of being a forever learner and being excited that I was invited to get more actively involved. So I'm thrilled to be here.
And we're happy to have you. I was just messaging in the chat. I think it's great. It's great to share all of our responses with this. And I was just telling Sandra, it's a great point to bring up, and just with everyone's responses of, especially for new programs starting up, of, you know, these are things that they're not going to know either, but of other places that they can seek out more education. I know Sandra mentioned that it was special organizations in France that they could take classes just to get better versed in handling kids with special needs. Suzanne, do you have any other, and everyone really, any other organizations, universities, or any other classes you've been able to take or you've asked your participants to take to further their knowledge of working with these special populations? I don't know, anyone wants to go first, jump in.
I don't know, Fran. Yeah.
I'm just tomorrow now. I'm going to do a autism in sport course. It's with an Irish called Cara. They're an Irish, I think, based company that run those courses. So I suppose next week I'll know more about it, but I'm looking forward to it to see how it compares with what experience I have working with autism. I'm really interested to see. So yeah, exciting.
We haven't necessarily been invited to too many like specific on the populations that we're serving, but we've been starting to get invited into like innovation incubators, which I think is important to tell too, because a lot of people are really starting to look at this as this new up and coming therapy. And I mean, we got invited from Brown University, South Coast Community Foundation, now Comcast sponsored innovation lab that we're going to be starting to. So people are starting to get wind of this thing.
Also,
sorry,
I was just going to welcome Teresa.
Hi guys, sorry.
Teresa, do you just want to introduce yourself briefly and let us know where you're tuning in from?
Okay. Hi everyone. Well, at least one of you I know, at least two, Chris and Suzanne. I'm from Portugal, and I'm a volunteer and vice president of Surf Addicts. So it's the Portuguese Adaptive Surfing Association. We are not professionals. I mean, so I have another job. And usually once per month, we have an event in each part of the country, in a different part of the country, where we can put people with disabilities in the water. Now, because of COVID, we stopped, but we are now gonna start, because in Portugal, everything is open. So we are starting this month, finally. So, but anyway, we have been already working once a week on surf therapy, which is different. It's not a once per month program with different people. It's with the same guys once per week. And this we have already started in April. And then we have already the competition, which is another area. But well, we are starting full time now, so to speak.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Just to fill you in, right now we're just discussing different programs, organizations, classes, courses that people can take to further their knowledge about working with these populations of children with special needs. So if there's any particular resources that you use, if you want to share.
Right now, we've at least I feel the need. I'm in charge of the therapeutic program on Surf Addicts, and I feel the need for more. How do I say? I need to prove to have a validation for the work I've been doing for 3 years. So now I'm trying to involve the university for sports, because they have an area which is, I don't know in English, it's psychomotor. Oh, I don't know how to say. Psychomotricidad, so movement.
Physiology.
Sorry?
I think it's called like physiology.
Yeah, kind of, yes. Yes, more than. So I'm trying to convince them that they should be interested in what we are doing. And I guess I'm going to be successful in that, I hope, so that they can come to the beach and work together with us. We've had an experience with the occupational therapy students, but we would like to involve other areas as well.
Great, that's actually a great segue. I did wanna, so I know last week or last meeting, I asked everyone about the kinds of guest speakers they'd be interested in me trying to get for us. I did contact an occupational therapist. He's based out of California, but he does work at a really, I guess the word is renowned. It's a very progressive outpatient facility. They treat children with special needs, but they have people that come from, they fly in from all over the world to this center. He's also volunteered at a few surf therapy programs all over in California. He's worked a lot with Chris too, and he said yes to being a guest speaker. So I'm working on, hopefully he can attend the June session and he'll be our guest speaker for the June meeting. If we can't make the June date work, I might have to move either the actual date of it, but I'll try to keep it a Saturday. I might have to move it to July, but we're hoping we can get it scheduled for June. So in anticipation of that, just think of any questions you might want to ask him. Anything at all. Are there any other topics that you'd want me to try to find guest speakers around?
How to scale this thing.
I know, Chris, I've been thinking really hard about your question and I still haven't quite landed on. Do you have any ideas, Chris, of like?
I do. I think Larry would be awesome to be able to sit with you guys. So for those who couldn't be with us in 2019, I am so missing being next to all of you and hugging you and seeing you in person. But Larry Harper, who started Good Tidings Foundation, you know, he went from this teeny tiny little project just by himself. And we all know that if we've worked with nonprofits, to building a pretty massive empire where 25 years later, they are building quite literally basketball courts, volleyball courts, baseball fields. He's putting together some very cool stuff in Hawaii coming up. You know, and so I think he actually, because he spoke at the 2019 conference, he is writing a book on how to help with fundraising. But with that aside, I think if you guys had like a more intimate conversation with him, you might, you know what I mean? You'd be able to pull more out of him. That would just be my first thought off the top of the head. Unless Christopher from Gnome Surf, you were thinking of something different than that.
Yeah, the fundraising part, I tend to do okay with. We're doing all right there. My thing is like really organizationally, how to like really build, like what would be more important at that for, like if I'm gonna go out and hire somebody to Gnome Surf, what is the most important person to hire first? Like something like that.
Oh yeah, like yeah, structurally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he would actually be really relevant in that piece too.
Beautiful.
It wouldn't have to be all fundraising is like yeah, it's a piece of it to build your sort of,
Wow.
I'm not going to say empire, that's the wrong word, but to build your beautiful program up. But all of that goes hand in hand with, if you decide that you really want to pay a grant writer, it's like, where's the priority in that versus I need more staff to actually conduct and deliver surf therapy before we go to social media, right? And I know you know a lot of this, Chris, you've been doing it, but yeah, I think sort of a step-by-step to continue to get even bigger.
I would be thrilled if Larry Harper would do that, because I think that was, for me, in 2019, that was one of the most interesting talks ever. So if he is willing to do that, I would be really happy, Chris.
Yeah, I picked up from something that he said, and he's like, don't pay for anything. Like, so I literally, like, before anything, I'm like negotiating with everybody to try to get everything for free. Sometimes we have to pay, but literally I've gotten something, like we're getting $10,000 off our van because of that. Like, just, you know.
Love that. I love that. Yeah.
Because of his speech. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you earned the right. And I'm like, you're right. I did earn the right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little crazy when you think about celebrities. Obviously, the United States of America is horrific in that they, you know, superhero celebrities. But the fact that every celebrity gets every single thing in their life for free, their cars, their clothes, their trips that they take, and all of you are out there doing this incredible nonprofit goodness. And it's hard for you guys to get a free lunch every once in a while. So I think Larry has some great points. If you guys want me to get Larry, I'll put Larry and Meeg on an email together and coordinate that for potentially July.
That would be fantastic. I have it in my notes to myself too. I know we're kind of getting towards the end of our time limit, but I did also briefly want to ask, so this could either be you can respond to me in an email, or if you want to tell me now, it's up to you if you want to think on it. But just looking ahead towards the ISTO symposium, anticipating it's going to be
ISTO
virtual.
Summit. I'm changing it.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
But anything that you would like to see from it, any ideas you have in kind of bringing everyone together virtually, any ideas that you have, we definitely want to hear from everyone, and then I'll streamline and send everything back to Chris. So again, if you want to share it now, if you want to think on it and send it to me in an email, whatever works for you, but I did want to at least touch on that to start.
Can we have a hybrid?
I'm going to defer that to Chris.
I'd love to get back in person.
Can you define that? Oh, great.
I mean, I love virtual because we can open the doors to so many more people, but I feel like in person is where you really get the meat and potatoes of it all. Like the interactions and conversations we can have on one-offs with some of the programs that we admire or that kind of mirror our own, to get those little golden nuggets, which is kind of hard to do through a screen.
I feel you. We're working on that.
Okay.
You know, I've already thrown it out there on social media. It is in December, and there's something to be said about potentially doing like a local. And when I say local, I mean United States, meaning who could travel here safely and who could easily get here, kind of thing. And then it would actually be live streamed. So we're working on that. I'll talk to you about that more, Chris, but
Okay.
I agree with you. Nobody wants to go virtual. Like, as much as I adore seeing all of your faces, nobody wants to go back to virtual. I think this year, though, there's still so many unknowns that, out of massive consideration for not just the procedures and policies behind traveling, restrictions. There's just a safety thing. And then I think above and beyond all else, with 2020 still, we're all hungover from 2020. I think there's still a massive financial burden. Some of the programs have been thriving, and some of the programs are like, all right, well, you know, we're kind of running on low. So I have to be super considerate about the financial burden for some people. And ideally, by the way, 2023 won't be in the United States. It'll probably be, I think, Australia or New Zealand. So we'll definitely be moving. It won't be always in the United States. We also need to get to the UK and to Europe. So there's so many places we need to go. Or actually, what am I talking about? We're just going to the Netherlands, where everybody can go and play in the Netherlands. No, so yeah, but Chris, I'll talk to you more about that. But yes, we want to see everybody as soon as possible. You
I'm
know,
thrilled to hear the word New Zealand, though. I've always
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to go, and that's like an excuse. You gotta go.
Yeah, I think everybody will. I've always wanted to go. I'll prioritize that. But you know, the thing is when we came together initially, part of our pillars states that we will bring and we will put together and host an annual conference every year. And I, you know, we've done it, but last year, yeah, we knew it was sort of the magic was missing. So this year we're going to do some workshops and do breakout rooms and have much smaller get-togethers, not based on population served, but just who's all there. Because we had about 200 people in and out of the conference last year, which is pretty cool to have that many people online. And so this year we'll do more breakout rooms and you know, a little bit more workshops, so that we feel like we're together. But we might do a regional one, Chris. So that would include you. Any other thoughts?
Come to Europe, Chris.
Yeah,
July.
I'll be there in July. I'll be there from July 1st to the 19th. So I'll be there.
And Christopher, you can come too. I mean,
I definitely am planning.
Maybe you're not European, but
yeah, I can't in the summer because I like have no time. But I want to get out there and surf with you and Ben actually. So I'm gonna make it happen.
Fran, anything else you'd like to add? Any thoughts? Or
I'm just taking it all in. I'm new to this, so I'm just taking it all in. I'm a bit shy, but I'll be okay.
Or Sandra, Brenna, Teresa, before any final thoughts?
I'm not sure if we can go to England this year. We'll try, but it also depends on the health problems. I don't know if we're allowed to travel. We still haven't had any vaccination process finished. It's not finished. I mean, only all the older people. So I'm still waiting. Sorry?
For us, it's the same.
Yes, I'm still waiting. And I'm not sure if I can travel and if it's safe to go to England with no.
Oh, our borders are not open yet. So
yes.
But
so it depends.
I'm dreaming. Yeah.
But I would love to. Yeah, and that is a massive consideration. July is coming up quick. Bye, Christopher. July is coming up quick, but that's another reason why for the ISTO, the ISTO Europe conference is meant for everybody in Europe and the UK, but the ISTO international conference, that is why we're having to plan this online again, because there's so many unknowns. And also, who knows? I actually just got my vaccination, and that's why I'm not on camera, because I'm coming off of my 103-degree temperature for 2 days. I've been so sick. But I mean, a lot of the countries aren't vaccinated. And then on top of that, I just read, and Neeg, you might know more about this, but I just read the vaccination's only good for 6 months. I'm like, what? I am not going through this again. I was so sick for 2.5 days. I mean, honestly, I'm one vaccination COVID shot away from my ideal weight because I could not eat for 3 days. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm just saying. So yeah, I just think it's safer to be planning an online for just, let's hope 2022 we're all back together, wherever that is. But I think this year it's just safer to assume. Yeah, I think the ISTO Europe thing is, Joe really wanted to host a regional one, and obviously we were planning it for last year, and so obviously that got canceled. But anyway, I hope the borders open up, you know, fingers crossed. The one thing the United States did really, really well was spread COVID. And then the other thing the United States did really, really well is vaccinate us. So once again, it shows why the rest of the world thinks we're a bunch of elitists, because we weren't super respectful on how to stop the spread, and yet somehow we have all the vaccination. No, I mean, I shouldn't say that completely. It's not all the truth, but we definitely have done well with getting everybody vaccinated. Thanks to a new administration with Biden in office. So we definitely are all getting vaccinated. Meeg has been vaccinated for a long time as a healthcare.
Basically, it's already been.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be doing your second shot. I just got my second one, so I'm excited. But anyway, I don't want, you know, we're over time, and Meeg, you rock, and everybody rocks. So Meeg, you can close this out. I love everybody. Mwah, mwah. Have a great day. Everybody come in. I miss you.
Bye-bye.
Fran, we love everything Liquid Therapy does. Don't you worry, girl. You're gonna get up to speed in this, and you obviously are such a rock star. Tom put you in this position because you rock, and Liquid Therapy is doing some amazing things. Congratulations.
Thanks
Sandra,
very much.
ladies, bye. Suzanne, good seeing you. Teresa, great seeing you.
Bye.
Obrigada.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.